Get ready. It will get uncomfortable. The pain is real. The trans TikToker everyone hates by ABLAZE. This is Lily Tino downfall. Well, time to get into it. If you don't know who Lily Tino is, now you will. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. We'll jump in. Let's go. I want to lose 5 to 7 kilograms anyways. Today was such a good day. Today is a good day.
Meet Lily Tino, the most hated TikToker who streams herself bullying waitstaff, snaps bathroom selfies with strangers in the frame.
Yeah, and talks about how he's gonna cut off his balls in Disneyland. I'm not too excited.
And melts down on every TikTok because a waiter dared to say, "Sir."
I'm sorry, but if it quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, moves like a duck, it might probably be considered a duck. Like, I'm sorry. You sound like a man. Sometimes you look like a man. You move like a man. You might be considered a man. I'm sorry. That will not change. I'm sorry. And I don't think people should crash out over being misgendered. I'm sorry. Nobody owes you anything!
She baits people for misgender slip-ups, then weaponizes those clips for clout, turning real workers into props for her outrage circus. From publicly rating Disney women's restrooms to declaring Kurt Cobain...
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. Disney adults, and I don't mean those who just like Disney, but Disney adults who are overly obsessed with Disney. It's just so weird. It's just so cringe. Like this like you see this where they're like overly obsessed, like this person literally admits that he doesn't pass up, but gets mad about being misgendered. Stupid. Some people just will never pass, and that's the reality. That's the harsh reality of our world.
Probably trans, Lily's shock tactics finally backfired, and the internet couldn't be happier. This is the satisfying downfall of TikTok's most hated creator, Lily Tino. Before she was Lily Tino on TikTok, she was known as Nick Contino, a shy kid escaping into video games to cope with a life that didn't feel right. Born in the early 1990s, Nick grew up loving games like Pokemon and World of Warcraft. In those virtual worlds, Nick often played as female characters, notably a pigtailed girl avatar named Lily, long before coming out as trans. I spent hours in Warcraft, slipping out of the real world in which I lived as a cisgender boy named Nick, she later recalled. The fantasy of living as a girl provided solace from the pain and denial that marked Nick's youth. This dual life planted the seeds for a future transformation. Fast forward to...
You can't just get me to what's the word? Feel bad though. What are the chances? I don't want to say anything, but what are the chances that he was abused as a child?
To adulthood, Nick built a career in the video game industry.
You are telling me those two are the same person? You are telling me that those two are the same person? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Something feels off. Something feels off. I don't know, that's weird.
By 2021, she was a business development lead at a gaming startup and even wrote articles about games. But inside, Nick was struggling with gender dysphoria. In her late 20s, she finally found the courage to begin her gender transition, adopting the name Lily Contino, often stylized as Lily Tino online. As she later explained, her life transition began with a career transition, leaving the corporate gaming world to live authentically as a woman. In mid-2022, Lily publicly came out as transgender, and her personal journey was about to go very public. In November 2022, Lily Tino posted her first TikTok video, beginning to document her transition from male to female. At 32 years old, she openly shared her facial feminization surgeries, hormone updates,
Yeah, are you sure you went through a surgery? I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something. Right? I'm gonna say something. Those surgeries were an absolute failure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Also, Poke, I agree with Disney adults are a different breed of special. They are.
And everyday challenges, the response was overwhelmingly positive at first. Viewers flooded her early videos with support. These heartfelt comments show how Lily's transparency resonated with people looking for an uplifting transition story. One of Lily's first viral posts was a montage of her physical changes over time, a common TikTok trend. It struck a chord and garnered hundreds of thousands of views. Encouraged by the feedback, Lily leaned into being a full-time content creator, even calling herself a professional transgender person.
How does... Wait, how does one become a professional transgender person? He paid money to look worse, for real, for real. He paid money for no changes, actually, if anything. That's the case here. It's just odd. And then he talks the entire time about, like, how he's gonna remove his cock, and I'm like, bro, when did we start normalizing, body mutilation?
In her bio, with a warm smile and colourful outfits, she portrayed a hopeful narrative of living authentically. In these early days, Lily's public persona was largely sympathetic. Little did her new fans know the tone of her content was about to take a sharp turn. Lily's TikTok lives also became a staple. She would stream her daily outings, especially her meals at restaurants around San Francisco, inviting viewers to share a meal with her. When I'm sitting there and just eating, it's like you're sharing a meal with me, explaining that seeing a trans person in a mundane setting could foster understanding. It was a noble idea, using food and candid conversation to bridge gaps. By early 2023, Lily had a modest but growing following, and her streams were picking up momentum. Empowered by her viral fame, Lily didn't simply continue her restaurant live streams, she escalated them. 5 days a week, she planted her phone on a mini tripod, turned on TikTok Live, and roamed San Francisco cafes.
Oh god, this is gonna be really interesting. Like, it's very interesting. I just feel like... this looks like a bad experiment.
Phase in search of the next outrage clip. What began as light-hearted Eat With Me content morphed into a spectacle where conflict was the entree. By July 2023, she was testing how far shock value could push engagement. Cue the inappropriate video that happened in Disney.
I'm dating someone who turned their cake pops into a donut.
In which a scene...
No, you dated somebody that took perfectly healthy body parts and turned them into a rot pocket. Because I've seen the Reddits. I've seen countless of Reddits of trans people reporting that their stuff, their body parts down there, trans women, turned into a literal rot pocket. It started rotting, it started smelling, weird liquid was coming out. There's people where it created a hole where shit was literally coming out, by the way. You cannot tell me. If somebody says, oh, they feel like they should just have one arm, are we gonna remove their arm? No. So why, when somebody says they should have a vagina, why are we creating an axe wound? Not the smartest way. I'm straight up honest. This is just body mutilation, nothing else. And the people who allow this should literally be jailed. It is literally an open wound. It has to be dilated the entire time. It's an axe wound, straight up.
With a literal cake pop of a potential gender-affirming surgery. Although at this point, these videos have happened more than once.
Disney's gonna ban me for this one. My corn dog is still intact. intact. I'm not happy about that, but sadly it takes a long time to turn a corn dog into a inverted corn dog. When I got my cake pops removed, I specifically asked my surgeon to leave the bag intact. That's because down the line, if I wanted to use my cake pop stick and turn it into a donut, the bag can come in handy. Get banned from Disney. I swear we're about to get banned from Disney. Last summer, I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I noticed some hair regrowth.
Disneyland is meant to be a safe...
Are you sure that the hair regrowth is just mold? Ooh. And why do you discuss this around children? Not to mention that she made like a transgender version of a children's show. Really weird, my guy. Am I saying she? Nah, you're a weirdo. He.
family-friendly space. But Lily Tino's own livestream antics are turning it into the opposite. Given her graphic, disgusting TikTok videos, many parents now feel the park isn't safe for their kids. For the sake of families, it may be time for Disney to show her the exit.
You Need to Chill by Juno Dawson.
The way you try.
Why are there trans kids books? Why are there trans kids books? Nobody needs those. Nobody needs those. Ugh. People like this shame the entire community if it is unbearable. It is unbearable to watch. It is. It is.
To target young children is a little concerning. You tried to dress up as Miss Rachel twice. You talked about your cake pop at Disneyland, and that's a children's place.
Viewers who'd once praised her vulnerability now complained that she was performing trauma for clicks. The running theme soon became misgender baiting. A server would drop a casual "sir."
Sorry, is everything okay?
I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir.
Listen, bro, how are we supposed to know that? You look like a man.
Lily's face would light
I mean, he isn't wrong. Rose said, nah, fuck this shit, I'm on camera. If I get caught in 4K, I get caught in 4K. Was like, you look like a dude, homie.
up as if she'd struck gold, and the next 3 minutes would be a tirade on camera about pronouns, oppression, and educating the masses. If no one slipped, she occasionally misheard a harmless word, then scolded the staff.
There is no oppression. You are not oppressed. There is no right that you don't have. You can do whatever you want. The only thing that gets oppressed is your weird behavior, though that would rather fall into suppression instead of oppression. Sorry. When people say like, I'm oppressed. No, you're not. I look at you and be like, bitch, you know you're not. Wait, haven't we seen a video about her already? Yes, there's another one. There's a new one.
Anyway, but everything got so much worse. Surrounded by families, Lily began live streaming from a restroom corridor, rating each women's bathroom on ambience and privacy.
Made it into Disney World. I don't really know what the deal is with bathrooms. No, Florida is really conservative. I don't know what the rules are. Trans women are allowed to be in women's bathrooms, but I'm about to go and use the bathroom because
They shouldn't be. Time to filter a couple of people again. Biological men should not be in female spaces, period. I'm sorry. Not in women's sports, not in women's bathrooms, not in women's only gyms. I'm sorry. I don't care.
I have to tinkle. If I get stopped, I get stopped, I guess. But I'm a woman, so I'm going to use the women's bathroom, and being in Florida or being in California or wherever isn't going to stop me. So I will report back in a minute once I have hopefully tinkled without issue. Went as well as it could have gone. No one gave me any weird looks. Definitely no one stopped me. I walked in, I found a stall. I peed standing up, which is something I'm sometimes a little self-conscious about with the sound. I think, oh, is there...
That's very interesting. The woman that pees standing up, sure.
Someone peeing standing up there. But you know what? I peed standing up and it was fine. And then I washed my hands and I left. And you know what? On my way out from the women's bathroom, I took a quick picture with someone who recognized me and it was lovely. So overall, Disney World in Florida, 10 out of 10 women's bathroom experience for trans women would.
She snapped selfies inside stores, other women's shoes clearly visible beneath doors, and joked that Florida lawmakers would have a stroke if they saw her. Within minutes, Twitter lit up. Parents called the stunt creepy, activists called it reckless, and even some allies said it violated basic decency. Or, though Lily's stun isn't consequence-free, a woman who recognized herself in Lily's Disney restroom selfies has reportedly filed a privacy complaint with Orange County.
Based. If I don't want to be on somebody's picture without consent, I'm gonna not be there.
County authorities, citing Florida's voyeurism statute 810.145. If prosecutors pursue the case, Lily could face a third-degree felony, up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine.
Alright, y'all, now we have one person that has officially come forward.
No amount of makeup can hide that masculine build, not gonna lie. Not even the moobs.
To press charges against Lily Tino. By now, we all know Lily Tino went to Disney and went into the women's restroom and took selfies with other women and children in the background without their consent, and then came on TikTok and posted and rated every single bathroom experience. I made a video talking about the fact that that was illegal in the state of Florida, much less, not to mention, it's also against Disney policy to take photos within the restrooms.
That was only the warm-up. At a sit-down restaurant...
Interesting, so she basically committed a crime. And, did something against Disney TOS. Interesting.
In Epcot, a waiter accidentally addressed Lily as Sir. Sensing viral potential, Lily pounced, demanding a public apology and even the removal of the bread tower. The outburst felt more like choreographed drama than genuine offense. And sure enough, the manufactured outrage sent the views soaring.
That is fancy looking. Cool.
The bottom is from Thailand.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. And the middle one is from India. It's the papadom with the gingerbread chutney.
Okay.
And the third is from Brazil. It's a cheese bread with the guava sauce.
Thank you. It just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately like leave because I no longer feel like safe here. It's like, oh, my guard now has to be up. I'm not gonna enjoy this.
What? What do you mean you're not safe? You're not getting a These are words! Words fry these motherfuckers' brains. It's crazy. Why do you care so much? The reason why it has power over you is because you care so much. Bro, any selfie doesn't add the surrounding. Yeah, that's very true. Though again, it's illegal, so just because people randomly do it does not mean everyone has to like it. That's what happens. With that voice, nah, you're a dude. Nah, dude, you're a man. I don't know the backstory of this person, so I don't know the reason.
Bread as much because my card is up. We should be able to go places and not have to worry. I don't think I really want this bread tower, actually. I think I'd rather have the check, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the training. We're supposed to say friend or just not use gendered language. It's like a pretty big thing that Disney has done. Nothing was wrong with bread. I just don't want it anymore. Just because they apologize doesn't mean she doesn't feel sad or offended. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever...
Especially the dude had an accent, right? The dude had an accent, so he likely wasn't really good at speaking English. And he may not understand that. Like, sorry, I don't have, for example, in Germany, we don't have gender-neutral pronouns. There is no they, them. You're either a he or a she. And I also don't gender, because here we try to implement gender language. And I obviously absolutely refuse to use that. Very, very much refuse to use that, actually. I'm not a big fan of it, and I won't use it. They advise us to use it in like assignments and stuff, and I'm like ice cold and be like, "Yep, this entire text is regular German language through and through." I don't care. We're on the Brett Tower BS. Yep. Have you seen the Nazi list of VTubers? Yeah, we reacted to that. The video should be up in like 20 minutes.
Hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident. Do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. That's not how it works.
Sorry about what happened.
It's okay. I would love to pay for the drink, please.
No, the drink is on me too, so...
You don't have, are you sure?
You're good, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Crucially, trans creators blasted her too, pleading, "Please don't judge us by Lily." Parents who'd witnessed the spectacle posted statements describing frightened children and staff walking on eggshells. Disney's own employee subreddit blew up with cast members venting about influencers turning the parks into career-ending minefields. The fallout was swift. Lily lost brand deal inquiries, her daily follower gain flipped negative for the first time, and Bread Tower became shorthand for performative outrage. In that single week, she transformed from controversial to radioactive.
Transphobia abuse. Yeah, not using your preferred pronouns is definitely abuse. Accidentally not using the right ones is definitely abuse. You're retarded. It's not about being good or bad at English. Everyone doesn't appreciate the shenanigans. The guy is doing this on purpose. Very much. Very much. I would say so too. He gives me Dylan Mulvaney vibes. Oh, I remember when there was an article, women want to be her and men want to be with her. I'm like, yes, gay men maybe, but even not even gay men. And women certainly don't want to be a off-brand dude. Off-brand woman.
Proof, many said, that her live streams weren't about awareness anymore. They were about manufactured martyrdom at the expense of ordinary workers just trying to do their jobs. The funniest thing about all this, though, is that she's now being recognized at restaurants, and some owners don't even want to serve her anymore because viewers are calling ahead to warn that she's just trying to score a free meal.
Could I do the... Oh, ignore it.
They say that you're holding and you tell company for free.
No. It's not true.
Okay. So many people calling me already.
I'm so sorry.
They calling me because they say they can come here and can order like free food.
They're saying...
Why does he look like that? Did he get punched or anything? Like here? Why is the top lips like that? Odd. But yeah, people are calling in beforehand so that he can't cause mayhem.
That I'm saying that you can come here and order free food.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah. So can you tell with them like into my restaurant just restaurant.
Oh, I trust me, I understand. I never said that there's any free food. Those are internet trolls. Yeah. But if you'd like, I'm happy to get the check now and leave so that I can be out of your hair.
But they just call me and say, but why did you say like that? Blah, blah, blah. I say, I don't know.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do about them, but I am happy to pay my bill now if you'd like, if you want. If you want.
The food is almost done. I just want to let you know because so many people calling.
Yeah, no, it's not that they're really sad, miserable people that are transphobic that try to make my life more difficult. I'm sorry that.
No, they're just trying to make sure that you can make other people's lives difficult. That's where they're calling. Cut himself shaving, probably. Normal women issues. Yeah, normal women issues. Actually, more so normal men issues, what he has.
You had to be a target of that. Because you're just here making food, and I'm just here eating the wonderful food.
That's why.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Imagine sitting on the internet and calling up a family-owned restaurant and lying to them. If y'all are able, I would really love to leave this restaurant a significant tip. Our first $10 tip came through. Oh gosh, y'all are coming through. We are tipping $210. That's because of y'all. Thank you for helping make it up to this restaurant.
As Lily's content...
I mean, the restaurant won't complain about the ginormous tip. Not gonna lie. That's a W for the restaurant. First of all, you won't cause any bullshit. Second of all, they get more money. I see this as an absolute win for the restaurant.
Pivoted toward conflict, the internet's goodwill began to evaporate. On Reddit forums, users started circulating clips of Lily's outbursts. Others, both trans and cis, agreed that Lily's behavior was making the transgender community look bad by reinforcing the stereotype of the overly aggressive, perpetually offended trans activist. The sentiment was summed up by another Redditor. How fragile can you be? I'm non-binary. I would never do what she's doing. Mistakes happen, you correct it politely or ignore it, but this is too much. TikTok itself.
You can't, and it goes for everyone who uses some weird amalgamation of pronouns. You can't force people to follow your reality. You can't force people to abide to your logic. I'm sorry. Nobody has to use the correct pronouns. Nobody has to. If people want to go by what you look like, then you can't force it upon them. And you will never change it, even if you tried to force it upon them. Because here in Germany, you have to, like, abide to these people. If I misgender someone, not accidentally, then I can get sued. I can get sued. Isn't that interesting? That's how you act to cause mayhem if you can give them a tip for the danger they are near this person. Is a ticking time bomb, pretty much.
Also turned on Lily. Her own video's comment sections became war zones. Many viewers accused her of manufacturing outrage. Stitches and reaction videos multiplied, with other TikTokers openly mocking Lily's antics. One viral stitch showed a montage of waiters immediately apologizing to Lily after saying "sir" to highlight how none of them meant any harm, and then cut to Lily furiously lecturing them regardless. Even some transgender creators joined the pile-on, saying Lily's over-the-top reactions were unwarranted and harmful. Importantly, Lily's hypocrisy became a talking point. She often insisted that others use gender-neutral terms, like calling customers friend instead of sir, ma'am.
But that's impolite. These restaurants have a... I'm sorry, but fuck you. Restaurants don't have... Again, nobody has to follow your logic. I am very sorry. They don't. They have one focus in mind. And that is that they also need to be professional. And friend is not particularly professional. You know, they have more to lose than just, oh, this person was offended because they weren't using the right pronouns. Like, dude, I just kick you out. I just remove you from the restaurant. Problem solved. How can they prove it wasn't an accident, though? If I, for example, I had in college a trans woman, and I would call her a man repeatedly, and I refuse to use she, her, they can sue me. That's how far gone Germany is. You can also once a year change your gender whenever you like, by the way. That's also interesting, like legally.
To avoid misgendering. Yet in her own speech, Lily would casually refer to servers as guys or assume every barista was a he. The irony is how Tino preaches about neutral language while referring to his waiters as he. And in an infamous move, Lily made a TikTok claiming that late Nirvana singer Kurt Cobain was probably trans, essentially assigning a new gender identity to a dead person who never identified as such. As Lily rattled off her evidence Cobain wore dresses, he once said he felt more feminine. An early lyric draft mentioned wanting breasts. Viewers cringed. It came off as profoundly disrespectful and absurdly speculative. If Lily felt justified pronouncing Kurt Cobain as a transgender woman, critics argued, why should she object so strongly to someone calling her sir? That January 2000...
Very true, very true. It's also very interesting. Like I said, he is definitely part of the group that when a guy is more feminine, they're probably trans, and when a woman is tomboyish, then they're probably lesbian or trans. It is very interesting. Yes, those people exist. I am making just assumptions, but that's the energy that he gives me. Every year, yes, every year. You can do that every year legally. Leave court alone, man. You're not safe. Can you call her creature to avoid she him? Probably not. Probably not. That would also probably be very offensive.
2024 Kurt Cobain video became the turning point. Overnight, the enthusiasm that once surrounded Lily collapsed into near-universal backlash. Even communities that supported her, including trans advocates, turned their backs. They called her out for projecting drama into every situation, saying her behavior reflected poorly on the whole movement. What began as solidarity quickly devolved into
like I said, Finding Sky said, Pride Month fell off, and it's a good thing. It became less about the movement and more about degeneracy, and this is what you get.
Collective embarrassment. People accuse Lily of playing the victim over minor slights, baiting attention by reacting as though everything was about her identity. When she received a polite request not to stream inside a restaurant, she saw bigotry. When a delivery went wrong, something out of the restaurant's control, she blasted the staff online instead of letting it go. These moments shifted public perception from advocate to entitled. It wasn't just outsiders who were losing patience, it was her own tribe. Her fans pointed out the hypocrisy, demanding respect, yet disrespecting others. They grew tired of the constant outrage and the sense that any small inconvenience was part of a grand oppression. Critics argued she was weaponizing her trans identity, not to advance rights, but to deflect any accountability. And so, the narrative flipped. The same audience that cheered her on began to see a pattern of behavior that didn't feel authentic or righteous. It felt performative. In their eyes, Lily's dissent.
It doesn't just feel performative. It is performative. It very much is. She's setting those things up on purpose. Straight up.
Wasn't the result of opposition, it was self-inflicted. By turning every minor hurt into a crusade, she alienated people who once saw her as a leader.
Hi. I'm a food critic and I travel around San Francisco with my phone and stream my meals. Typically, for any meal, between like 75 and 100,000 people will witness the meal, either live or after the fact. Would this be a good time for me to record my experience here? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave. There's no one. Okay. I think they're like all watching me as I walk out. All right, well, goodbye. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to. They're all just kind of looking at me from the kitchen, like, okay. I'll leave. Yeah, it definitely is intimidating for it to be that many people, but there's several reasons I mention it. Is one, because I want them to know that it's not just like I'm a random person videoing my food. Because it also lets them know, like, hey, enough people are going to be seeing this that you want to be sure to like be on your game, and also it could result in a free meal. So
one recurring issue is Lily Tino's shocking treatment of restaurant staff during her frequent live streams. Tino often broadcasts herself dining out, with her viewers paying for her meals via TikTok live donations.
What? She doesn't even, I mean, that's on the viewers, I'm gonna be honest. I guess that's on the viewers. I wouldn't really put that on him. That's because of the viewers. That's the viewers are TikTok viewers aren't particularly the smartest, right? Ash Trevino or the last dude we watched, who was crazy with like his multiple personalities.
Only for her to relentlessly complain about trivial issues and demand special treatment.
Push them back a little bit. Am I still going to use the women's bathroom even if it's against like rules, yeah, I think I will, as a statement. You know, if I like, for example, if I was in Florida, I was in Florida last week, and it was not allowed for me to be in a women's bathroom, I would still use a women's bathroom.
Wait. Is he using a dump your Republican boyfriend? Why are you wearing that? It's not like you have a partner. So why are you wearing that? You're not dumping anyone. You would never. Nobody's touching you. That's a big croissant, by the way. That was the clip where he said, just because this croissant is bigger doesn't mean it's not a croissant. Basically saying, just because I'm trans, that doesn't make me any less of a woman. That's basically what he meant by that, like the comparison of like, this big croissant is still a croissant. The problem is that the croissant is not pretending to be a bagel or a donut. That's a problem. They're both croissant. One is just bigger. But here it's like, the actual comparison would be, they're both croissants, but one identifies as a donut.
Because that is something that I feel strongly about. If they want to make a stink about it, they can, and I'm happy to make a stink about it too. That's how we fight back, y'all. That's how we fight back. So acts of solidarity with our trans brothers and sisters and siblings.
In one instance, she badgered a waiter with endless questions about a salad dressing, even requesting a sample of it, seemingly just to create conflict. Night after night, she finds something wrong with her meal or service and demands to see managers, often trying to get employees reprimanded or even fired for minor mistakes. Observers have noted a pattern. She'll complain about a hair in her food while her own dog sits nearby, shedding fur, then use the situation to score freebies or refunds. All the while, viewers are sending her hundreds of dollars in donations.
Right? Like, I wake up, I do everything I do during the week revolves around this because I love doing it. There are other things that I could do that might even be a way to, like, you know, accumulate more wealth, but I love doing it so much. But just be able to do this streaming and not have to worry about finances for, you know, the rest of my life, I would, because I love doing it. You know, I'm fulfilled here. I'm fulfilled. This is what I like to do. I love hanging out here. That's it. So, obviously that's not possible, you know, this hypothetical situation. Money's always something else.
Yeah, but when the problem arises where you can't make that money anymore because you fucked up, but you still have to preface the big croissant with big, like you still have to preface trans woman with trans. Yeah, exactly. Nah, 5-star, and they call you friend. That's ain't 5-star anymore, and that's an ugly lipstick. There's more ugly than just the lipstick.
But y'all make it so much less of a worry because of your incredible being awesome. So, thank you. You can't ask for much more in life than to be content.
Essentially rewarding her for manufacturing outrage. Critics argue that Tino deliberately provokes staff to elicit a misstep, for example, an employee misgendering her, only to then play the victim and blast the incident online. In one absurd case, she got stuck in an elevator and pressed the emergency call button. When the unseen operator addressed her as Sir over the intercom, Tino flew into a rage, despite the fact that the person couldn't even see her.
I am trapped in an elevator right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit my fault because there's people who were in the elevator that came out while I was waiting for it and said, oh, hey, we're not sure if this elevator is working, but like the elevator looked like it was working when they walked out. So I was like, what's the worst that could happen? And I pressed the button and the door closed, and then the buttons didn't work. And now we're stuck here. I pressed the...
Why does he look so creepy? Why does he look so creepy with this dog? Get this dog out of here, please. Save the dog.
Call button, and it went to my apartment person. Of course, they called me sir as soon as I said hello. Hello, sir. Number one, I'm not a sir. Number two, I'm trapped.
How? They can't, motherfucker, they can't see you. You sound like a man. They can't see you. They can't see you. They hear a male voice and be like, sir. They can't see you. If they don't have surveillance cameras. They can't see you, I'm sorry.
In an elevator in that order. I'd rather be stuck in an elevator and called ma'am than out of an elevator and called sir. And that's the truth. Oh, there's a little bounce. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, it's working. I think it's working. We did it.
This constant combative stance toward anyone who doesn't cater to her expectations has been widely condemned. It's not just cisgender audiences who are appalled. Many feel Tino's antics feed into the worst stereotypes of privilege and petulance. By brazenly harassing service workers and boasting about it, she's painted herself as an influencer who thinks those below her should lose their only source of income for offending her. The serious real-world impact is
pretty much a walking cancel culture, basically. Isn't that what she technically is? Crazy.
clear. She's attempting to punish low-wage employees to satisfy her ego, and viewers find it disgraceful. She's quick to take offense at other people's behavior, yet she's been guilty of some pretty despicable actions herself. In a now infamous livestream clip, Tino appeared to call her pet dog, Nugget, a racial slur, the N-word.
Nugget?
Nugget, a racial slur, the N-word.
Nugget?
Yeah, the infamous Nugget. Please tell me this creature courier is dead. Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. Probably. There was some other weird shit happening recently as well, in addition to that. Nugget. Yeah, sure. Somebody said the N-word life. Didn't you? The problem is that you. The problem isn't really that you said it. The problem is that you denied saying it.
Nugget.
Now this content creator's name is Lily Tino, and the other night she was live on stream when she was going to tell her viewers something about her dog Nugget, but instead of saying her dog's name Nugget, she ended up saying another word that starts with an N, and like I said, she definitely should not be saying this word. Now it seems like she said the word that starts with the letter N on accident, but I really don't understand how you accidentally say that word instead of nugget.
She later tried.
You know, maybe her dog is from the hood. Maybe his dog is from the hood. It's the hood dog. How do you go from a nugget to the N-word? How does that work? How do you do that? How does that happen? Bro, it was the intrusive thoughts coming through. That's crazy.
Tried to claim it was an accident, insinuating she merged the words shiver and nugget together. But virtually no one bought that excuse. Viewers pointed out,
I can't care less for people like call me ma'am or not sir. Yeah, it may have been an accident, it may have not been an accident. I don't know how you go from that. It sounds reasonable at parts, but I'm like, nah, maybe it was your intrusive thoughts. Maybe it was in chat. Who knows? Maybe it was actually in chat, but nah, I don't think so.
That you don't get that word by accident. Given Tino's track record, people believed this slip was no slip at all. It was an ugly reveal of language she had on the tip of her tongue. The incident only reinforced perceptions of her as overtly racist, and it attracted intense backlash. Now, just a few months ago, Lily Tino just unveiled a brand new face, crediting a mid-five-figure facial feminization package, brow bone, and orbital shave.
Homie, look the same. I can tell you look the same. I still see the man inside of you. Can still see it. That didn't change much. Yeah, I just threw away money.
rhinoplasty, lip lift, jaw taper, and a likely tracheal shave, all revealed in a slick TikTok montage that racked up 500,000 views in 24 hours.
It has been 20 days since my FFS. About 70% of the swelling is gone, but it'll take another
FFS? For fuck's sake. Surgery? I'm gonna puke. I did it for you. Yeah, it's just I can't, like, nothing happened. It's almost the same. It's a bit more smaller, sure, but it's almost the same face. Like, I can tell.
year or two for the rest of it to go down. So let me show you around my new face. For reference, here's what I looked like before. First up is the hairline. You can see that it has been moved forward. The line is pretty pronounced right now, but it will fade over time.
You have a ginormous forehead. And that forehead was ginormous to begin with. Now it's like, that's huge. I can land an airplane on that one.
You might also be wondering about this little dent right here. That is internal stitching, and it will go away in a few weeks. Now, my nose is quite swollen, and that will go down over time, but take a look. You can see it's way more of a ski slope now. Also, my brow bone is way less pronounced. My surgeon said that the brow would probably be the thing that made the most difference in the beginning to feminize my face, and I tend to agree with them. Now, my lips haven't changed, but they went through my lower mouth to get to my jaw. It's hard to see the result here right now because there is a lot of swelling, but over time you'll see that it is much softer. And last but not least, the Adam's apple is gone. I want to give a huge shout out to my mom who took care of me as I recovered. My mom actually extended her trip several times to take care of me because I got COVID in the hospital. That made recovery a whole lot harder, but luckily I had a wonderful support network of friends.
All that, chat. All that. All that for Tony to still call you sir. All that for everyone who hears you to call you sir. It doesn't matter. The voice is just a dead giveaway. The build is just a dead giveaway. The face is still a dead giveaway. Insert the office joke, it's the same picture. It almost is. I don't think the swelling changes much.
As well that helped me walk my dog and brought food and did all these wonderful things, and I'm super excited for y'all to come on my healing journey as my face settles in over the next few years.
Supporters flooded the comments with hearts, but skepticism hit just as fast. Two reaction channels slowed her before and after frames and argued the changes were mostly filter work, calling the surgery story another sympathy grift. On Reddit, users traced a spike in livestream donations during the weeks she staged restaurant confrontations, claiming viewers basically bankrolled her makeover, while still asking for healing snack money, prompting TikTok to demonetize at least one post, an action Lily publicized on LinkedIn as proof she was being targeted for being trans. By mid-2025, Lily Tino
We genuinely believe that TikTok is pro-trans, while essentially being Chinese. Maybe technically Singaporean, but regardless, we know the Chinese are involved, let's just face it. I have news for you. And I have news for everyone that uses Chinese products. Like games, like gacha games, that'd be like, oh, these characters are gay. Or any other sexuality. They're not. You're just getting milk for money. Should have got some lip injections. That could have helped. That could have helped. Maybe some boobs. Some boobs could have helped, at least appearance-wise.
His public image is, to put it bluntly, in tatters. Once the beneficiary of sympathetic media profiles and celebrity shoutouts, she's now more famous as a cautionary tale. Her TikTok account still boasts around 405,000 followers, a considerable number, but one wonders how many are hate following to catch the next train wreck. Across Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube, Lily has become a running joke and a source of outrage. There are dedicated snark pages cataloguing her misdeeds. In comment sections, you'll find upvoted.
Are you a TERF? Yes, I'm a TERF. I'm gonna say that has to be staged. No one who considers themselves a TERF is IRL around and walks around. No IRL woman walks around and be like, yes, I'm a TERV. No one does. Maybe some unhinged person does that, but that's unlikely. I think this is staged.
Remarks like, yes, she's a Karen.
TERVs only exist online.
Yes, she treats waitstaff terribly. Even many in the transgender community refer to her with disappointment or outright anger, fearing she's giving them a bad rep. It's a remarkable reversal of fortune. In barely 2 years, Lily went from an unknown person finding herself to a celebrated trans influencer to arguably one of the most disliked personalities on TikTok. And the public's morbid fascination with her downfall is, as the title of this video suggests, satisfying to a great many. Because in the eyes of her critics, Lily Tino brought this on herself. They see a person who weaponized her identity to bully others.
Yeah, but that's not really surprising. People like that love to use their identity as a shield. The problem is I don't really care. If you use your identity as a shield, I will use it as I will weaponize it. I don't really care. Like, I'll just straight up weaponize it. I don't care. Hey, you use it as a shield, I use it as a weapon.
Who cried victim while victimizing innocent bystanders, like waitstaff just trying to do their jobs. Watching someone like that face consequences, losing respect, becoming a laughingstock, scratches an almost primal itch for poetic justice. Yet, there's a tragic element here.
Poetic justice? I'd call it divine justice.
Here too. Somber Lily's story could have been one of empowerment and bridging understanding. She had a real opportunity to educate and spread empathy. Remember how she started wanting to share meals so people see a trans person eating and feel common humanity. But as her platform grew, ego and anger seemed to have taken over. The lure of viral drama overshadowed the initial message of tolerance. In the end, Lily Tino's downfall underscores a truth about internet fame. Virality is a double-edged sword. The same TikTok algorithm that elevated her when she...
Depending on what you're doing, you can use the bad outrage to get bigger. Like, we have seen that with, like, Belle Delphine, right? That worked. In this case, that did not work because it's not the right thing.
Garnered sympathy, cut her down when she courted infamy. For many viewers, the downfall of Lily Tino is indeed satisfying, a comeuppance for objectionable behavior. For Lily, and perhaps those close to her, it's likely a lonely place to be, renowned for all the wrong reasons. As of now, Lily continues to post content, seemingly undeterred, but the public's trust and admiration are long gone. The saga of Lily Tino serves as a warning. On social media, authenticity can win you followers. But if attention becomes addiction, today's hero can become tomorrow's villain in the blink of an eye. And when that happens, the same audience that built you up will revel in tearing you down, one bread tower at a time. Would probably beg to argue that there's
pretty much the end of the video. I think that from what I can tell and what I believe is that she can still recover this and potentially will. It depends. Bad publicity is still good publicity in some way. I feel like the main problem here appears to be that she's weaponizing her identity, and when you do that, people will weaponize your identity when you use it as a shield. Absolutely deserved. I feel like people like that should be kicked out of the community, but at this point they need like a literally cleansing the entire community, which they won't do. Straight up, it is what it is. Well, that's it for the video. Like, comment, and subscribe.